Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. The market is red, but we do have more crypto news to go over today, and we'll also take a look at the price charts for both Bitcoin and XRP. And let's go ahead and get started with the latest on Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is now at 15. This is extreme fear. We've been in extreme fear, but it has lowered over the last few days. And so it's not a great position. We're working towards possibly going back towards single digits. Yes, we actually had single digits recently if you haven't been following this. So it is not a great position. It is still above $60,000. It's actually closer to $65,000, which is quite nice, but it could do a lot better. 2 days of candle closure in the red. We have a third daily candle right now that is looking like it's continuing to drop down. Volume is very low, so the activity that is taking place looks like it's being heavily pushed on the sell side. There we go. We got a little bit of a pullback while I'm recording the video. And you will notice that the bottom wick of this candle is a little bit past, but it's pretty close to the Fibonacci retracement zone, which is at $63,200. And so we have a very important technical indicator position that it looks like it's going to be fighting for. And if it does drop below $63,200, we could potentially be looking at another test down at $60,720. And then, of course, going down to 60K and then potentially pushing all the way down to around $59,000. We actually have a drop that bottomed out at $59,200 back on June 5th. But as it is right now, 2 daily candle closures. This is after a run up of 3 daily candles being green. So it's not surprising to see a little bit of cool off. What is unfortunate is the fact that we've essentially knocked out everything that was gains for those 3 days. So we're back at a position right now that puts us levels that we had on June 11th. Yes, so we are 7 days set back at the moment. It has potential to still make a climb, but it is not looking so great at the moment. And we have the Bollinger Band. It is continuing to constrict right now. The median line of the Bollinger Band is sitting very close to the VWAP, which is very interesting to see essentially a crossover event between those. So I think that just further strengthens the idea that we're going to see some strong resistance around $65,400. So keep an eye on that level as well. Now moving on to some big news. From Rippleziety, XRP is positioned to be the biggest winner of the Clarity Act becoming law. And just looking at this very briefly here, this act may be cited as the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act or the Clarity Act. Congress finds the following. 1. Digital assets and blockchain technology have the potential to drive innovation, improve efficiency, and expand economic opportunity in the United States. 2. Regulatory uncertainty regarding the classification and treatment of digital assets has hindered responsible innovation and market growth. And number 3, a clear and comprehensive framework is needed to delineate regulatory authority, protect consumers and investors, and promote the integrity and stability of digital asset markets. And from Kenny Nguyen, XRP is the only digital asset in the USA that received true clarity from judicial branch and legislative branch. July 13th, 2023. XRP is not a security. That came from Judge Annalisa Torres. March 17th, 2026. XRP is a digital commodity. US SEC and CFTC. The Clarity Act will set it in stone. And as is pointed out here in their graphic, you can see what's being listed. Polkadot, Shiba Inu, Solana, Stellar, Tezos, and XRP. New accounts holding 1 million XRP account for about 93% of the total supply. Holding over 2,200 XRP puts you in the top 10%, and this is pretty wild. So there's 5 accounts that hold 1 billion or more XRP. Even if we're talking going down to 1 million to 5 million XRP, that range, there's 1,446 accounts that are technically millionaires in XRP crypto right now. So it's pretty wild. XRP Indonesia, this is being documented from Smoke, but it's not just Indonesia. It says XRP-based international money transfer service using Ripple payments solution to be gradually expanded in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Ripple races to protect XRP from quantum threats. Ripple X chief engineer Io Akanyeli says XRP ledger is being upgraded to prepare for quantum computing risks and the emerging AI economy. The plan includes hybrid signature technology that can switch to stronger protections if needed. The initiative has been in development since 2024. Executives say the goal is to attract major financial institutions to the network. More than $8 million for XRP ETFs this week already. Just 3 days in spot Ripple ETFs have already seen around $8.12 million worth of net inflows. The largest weekly inflows arrived on June 16th to the tune of $5.3 million, with the ETFs now holding 1.4% of XRP's circulating supply. For context, that is nearly 3 in every 200 XRP tokens. Over $293 million worth of XRP flowed through Binance, Upbit, and Coinbase in just 24 hours. The XRP trading activity exploding massively there. And we have from Fox Business Live, Ripple launches XRP Ledger AI Starter Kit on Fox Business Live TV. So getting even more attention there. XRP open interest just dropped 14.5% in 24 hours. Perpetual CVD cratering to negative 802.8 million. Open interest down to 215.4 million from the 255 million high spot CVD only. And negative 158.7 million though. Most of this move is leverage unwinding, not real spot selling price, still cracked $1.19. Watch if open interest stabilizes before calling this a bottom. There is a crypto exchange called BTCC. For some reason, I can't load the page at the moment, but BTCC is a crypto exchange. If you guys want to check it out, I do have my referral link down in the description below. We're going to go ahead and continue on with more crypto news. So Wall Street fears the rise of XRP Ledger as it eliminates the fee collecting middlemen traditional finance depends on for profit. Ripple minted another 8.7 million RLUSD on the XRP ledger. RLUSD supply keeps quietly climbing in the background. David Schwartz doubles down on XRP utility ahead of swell. Ripple CTO Emeritus David Schwartz highlights XRP's growing role across payments, tokenization, DeFi, interoperability, and AI ahead of swell 2026. Schwartz said the upcoming event is expected to be the largest Ripple swell yet. The remarks come as Ripple prepares to host more than 1,500 attendees at Swell 2026 in New York City. France's new quantum rule may favor the XRP ledger. France's cybersecurity agency, ANSSI, announces it will cease certifying all non-quantum resistant cryptographic products effective in 2027. The mandate requires a high-priority engineering shift for blockchain protocols that currently use legacy RSA and elliptic curve cryptography. This regulatory pivot accelerates the quantum proofing timeline as developers race to integrate post-quantum cryptography, or PQC, before the sovereign certification cutoff. The directive places immediate pressure on privacy-focused protocols like ZEC and high-cap Layer 1 networks to finalize their security migrations. However, it suits the XRP ledger, which is being upgraded for post-quantum cryptography. And also just in, DNA on-chain advances digital identity on the XRP ledger. Standard Chartered forecasts $8 billion flowing into XRP ETFs following passage of the Clarity Act. Matt Damon joins Ripple Swell, bringing one of Hollywood's biggest names to Ripple's flagship event. And when we take a look at the price action for XRP, it's not great either. Volume is very low. We're looking like we might have about the same amount of volume as the previous day. And we're sitting at $1.14, a little bit below $1.15. It's down 3.09% on the day, with where it is right now, it puts us back to June 14th prices. We did have a nice indicator on June 15th suggesting an entry point of a long, but you guys can see that that has pulled back. So hopefully this sell-off pressure will start to climb. And as you guys can see, there was a lot of volume activity that happened on the 15th. It really rose. There was selling pressure. It still closed out in the green. And then over the last few days, just a bit of downwards trajectory. And with that low amount of volume, I would suspect that us going towards the weekend, if we don't see much movement happening on Friday, then this very well could just essentially be flat, possibly dropping down even more, going towards around $1.10, retesting that. Might see a bounce. We did have a low on June 6th at $1.05, which is not great. And then we see how things continue to play out moving into Monday. But there's still time left in the day. We might see some major news. We still have time on Friday. And as far as what's going on between the United States and Iran, that's essentially subsided. But then you also need to look at what's going on between Ukraine and Russia. And with Russia, they just had a major oil position that was hit. So they're hurting, and that could very well ripple across the markets for oil there. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also, I have shorts, so if you guys want to see some additional news that you may have missed in this longer video, because there are more updates to come out throughout the day, be sure to check out those shorts as well. And thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. I am Crypto Atlas over on Patreon. Thank you to those of you that support me on YouTube as members. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.